Welcome back to the Deep Dive. It is February 20th, 2026.
Late February already.
Yeah, it's flying by. And if you're listening to this maybe on your morning commute, just take a look out the window.
Depending on where you are, of course.
Right. Depending where you are in North Texas, you can probably see the signs. You know, the grass is it's thinking about turning green.
The sun is definitely hanging around a little bit longer in the evenings.
Exactly. It's that weird sort of restless time of year, right between the dead of winter and the absolute explosion of spring.
It really is the calm before the storm. But in our world, you know, the storm isn't a weather system. No. It's the economy, specifically the real estate market.
And that is exactly what we are unpacking today for you.
Yeah.
We have a stack of documents here that paint a really fascinating picture of where we are right now.
Very revealing stuff.
Yeah, we're looking at market strategy reports, company profiles, and data sheets from a group called Peet Realty.
And our mission today is pretty specific.
It is. We are going to look at the North Texas real estate landscape generally, but we are zooming in with a microscope on Tarrant County.
Which is such a critical distinction.
Yeah.
Because real estate is hyper-local.
Right.
What's happening in New York or LA or even Austin doesn't really matter to someone who's just trying to sell a house in Fort Worth or Arlington.
Precisely. It's a totally different ballgame. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of zip codes and interest rates, I want to set the stage a little bit.
Okay.
Because February 2026 feels, I don't know, it feels different, doesn't it?
It does. It feels like a pivot.
Because if you rewind 2 years, or even just 1 year, the conversation in real estate was all about survival.
Hold on for dear life.
Yeah, just hold on. Specific, very polite word.
Oh, right. Softness.
Softness, which sounds so nice, right? Like a fabric softener commercial.
But in financial terms, softness is brutal.
It's awful. It means houses are just sitting on the market.
It means price cuts.
Yeah, price cuts and silence on the other end of the phone when you're trying to sell.
It essentially means paralysis. And we really need to understand why we were paralyzed, to understand why today, right now, in late February, is such a turning point.
Right.
The sources list 3 main factors that cause this softness: elevated interest rates, low inventory, and the big one, of course,
the lock-in effect.
The lock-in effect.
We're going to spend some serious time on that lock-in effect later, because I think a lot of people, you hear that phrase thrown around on the news without actually doing the math on what it costs a family.
People don't realize the actual dollar amount.
No, they don't. But the headline for today, the big takeaway is that the ice is cracking.
The thaw has started, and it's driven by one single number.
6%.
6%.
It is the magic number. We're seeing rates dip under 6% for the first time in a long time.
A very long time.
And the thesis of this deep dive is simple. This drop is going to trigger a chain reaction specifically in Tarrant County that most people are just not ready for.
And that is exactly why we need the guide.
Right, the guide. Because in every hero's journey, you need a guide to help you navigate.
You do.
And our source material today centers around a figure named David Peet. Now, usually when we review these Realty profiles, it's a lot of headshots and blazers.
Standing in front of a skyscraper with their arms crossed.
Yeah, very corporate, very always be closing.
But David Peet's profile is very different.
Wildly different. I mean, we were reading about British white cattle.
And retired Tennessee Walker horses.
And the LBJ grasslands.
It's a portfolio that honestly smells like dirt and leather.
Not just printer toner.
Exactly. And I think that distinction is the key to understanding the specific opportunity in Tarrant County right now.
How so?
Because the dream for a lot of people right now isn't just to buy a house.
Right.
It's to change a lifestyle.
That makes total sense. So here's the roadmap for the next bit of time. We are going to break down who David Peet is and why his specific background actually matters for your wallet.
It's not just trivia.
Yeah. Oh, it's highly relevant. We're going to dissect the lock-in effect and do the actual math on why that 6% threshold changes everything.
We'll look at the specific strategy for Tarrant County sellers, too.
Yeah, what to fix, what to ignore, how to price it, and we'll talk about the Texas-friendly approach to negotiation.
It's a packed agenda today.
It really is. So let's start right at the top with the man himself, David Peet.
Okay.
The source material says he has over 10 years of experience helping clients buy and sell in these North Texas counties. But the slogan they used jumped out at me immediately.
Real estate made real easy.
Yeah. Real estate made real easy.
I have to admit, when I first read that, my skeptical brain turned on.
Oh, absolutely. Mine too.
Because real estate is never easy.
Never.
It's a legal minefield. It's emotional warfare half the time.
It feels like an overpromise, right? Like, oh, just sign here. It's all easy.
But if you read further into the company profile, you see how they actually justify that claim. Okay, break that down for us.
Well, they don't say the process itself is inherently simple. They say that they make it easy for you, the client.
I see.
The source describes David not just as an agent, but as a, quote, professional sales and marketing organization.
Organization. That's a heavy word to use for an agent.
It is. It implies a systems-based approach. The source explicitly says that a lot goes on behind the scenes in a real estate transaction.
Which is the understatement of the year.
Right. If you're a solo operator, just a guy running around with a cell phone, you're basically reacting to chaos all day.
You're chasing inspectors. You're chasing lenders, the title company.
Exactly. But a professional organization anticipates that chaos. They have workflows built out. They have marketing stacks.
They're proactive.
Highly proactive. They're smoothing out the road ahead of time so the client actually feels like it's easy.
Even though behind the curtain, it's an absolute frenzy.
It's the duck on the water analogy. Calm and gliding on the surface, but paddling like hell underneath.
I love that analogy. It's so true. And that paddling, it requires a very specific type of stamina and knowledge, which I think brings us back to the cattle.
Yes, the British white cattle. We have to talk about the cows.
We do, because the source profile makes a very specific point to mention that David and his wife raise British white cattle.
Now, to the average suburban listener sitting in Fort Worth right now, that might just sound like a quirky hobby.
Yeah, like, oh, he's an animal lover. That's nice.
But to an analytical listener, or especially someone who is looking to buy land, that detail is a massive signal of competence.
Okay, explain that. Because do you even know what British white cattle are?
I mean, they're an ancient breed.
Yeah.
They're known for being very docile, hardy, and they're excellent mothers.
Okay.
They're very efficient at converting grass to beef. But here's the kicker. Raising cattle in Texas isn't just about beef.
What is it about?
It's about taxes.
Tax.
Specifically agricultural exemptions or ag exemptions.
I heard of those.
If you own land, let's say you want to move out of the city, and you buy a 10-acre plot in Decatur.
Which a lot of people from Tarrant County are trying to do right now.
Exactly. The difference between paying property taxes on the market value of that land versus the productivity value, which is the ag value, it's astronomical.
How astronomical are we talking?
We are talking about the difference between, say, a $15,000 annual tax bill and a $150 tax bill.
Wait, seriously?
Yes.
From $15,000 down to $150,000.
It is the single biggest financial factor in rural land ownership in Texas.
That is insane.
But there's a catch. To get that exemption, you have to prove to the county that you are actively using the land for agriculture.
You can't just put a plastic cow in the front yard.
No, you need a verifiable history of use. You need to know the stocking rates, like how many cows per acre are required in that specific county.
Right.
You need soil conservation plans. You need infrastructure.
So when the bio says, we raise British white cattle, it's not a throwaway line about hobbies.
Not at all. It's a billboard saying, we understand ag valuations. Because if I'm a buyer looking to spread out from Tarrant County, I don't want an agent who just knows how to open a ranch gate.
Right, you want an advisor.
I want an agent who walks the property and says, hey, this place is currently ag exempt, but the fences in the back are completely shot. If the cows get out and the appraiser comes by for an inspection, you could lose your exemption and your taxes are going to jump 10,000%.
That is a total disaster scenario that I would never have even considered.
Most city buyers wouldn't. That is the actual value of a trusted partner.
It extends to the horses too, right? The source mentions they care for retired Tennessee walkers.
Yes, horses that spent their riding years on the North Texas LBJ Grasslands Trail System.
LBJ Grasslands, that's up in Wise County, right? Just north of us.
Correct. Near Decatur, it's over 20,000 acres of a patchwork of federal land.
Right.
If you are riding horses out there for years, you know the terrain intimately, you know where the water pools, you know the soil composition.
Is it sandy loam or is it that hard rocky clay?
Yeah, precisely. And a city agent looks at a 10-acre lot and just sees dirt.
Just a place to build a house.
But a rural expert sees drainage capability, which really, really matters if you're trying to put in a septic system or drill a water well.
Oh, absolutely. You buy a property that doesn't perk for a septic and you just bought a very expensive campsite.
Exactly. The source mentions that David serves clients in the, quote, city or the country.
Right.
That duality is incredibly rare in this business. Usually, you have the high-rise condo guys in Dallas, or you have the pure ranch guys out west.
Right. You don't usually get both.
David Peet bridges that gap. And for the specific migration pattern we are seeing right now, which is people leaving the dense parts of Tarrant County for the space of the outer rings, that bridge is essential.
So we've firmly established that the guide is legitimate. He knows the land literally from the dirt up.
He does.
Now let's look at the terrain he is operating in right now. The market conditions of February 2026.
Let's talk about the what.
What? Because the source report is brutally honest about the recent past. It says the market has been characterized by market softness.
And it lists the three culprits we mentioned: elevated rates, low inventory, and the lock-in effect.
Let's stop right there on the lock-in effect, because I think people glaze over this.
They do.
We hear it on the news all the time, and we just think, okay, people are stuck.
Yeah.
But we need to look at the math to truly understand the pain.
Let's run the numbers.
Yeah, paint me a picture. Give me a typical Tarrant County scenario.
Okay. Imagine you bought a decent family home in North Richland Hills back in 2020.
Okay, perfect.
You paid $400,000 for it. And because it was 2020, you got a mortgage rate of 3%.
Ah, the golden handcuffs.
Exactly. Your principal and interest payment on that loan is roughly, let's say, $1,680 a month.
Very manageable.
Very. But now it's 2025. You have a third kid.
You need a home office because you're working hybrid.
Right. You want to move. So you find a similar house, maybe just slightly bigger in the same area. But because prices haven't really dropped much, let's say it's $450,000.
Okay, so a 50 grand upgrade in price, not crazy.
But the interest rate in 2025 was 7.5%.
Oh boy. Okay, I'm scared to ask, but what is the new payment?
That new principal and interest payment jumps to about $3,150 a month.
Whoa, wait, that's almost double.
It is an increase of nearly $1,500 every single month.
That's $18,000 a year in after-tax money.
For what? Basically the same house, maybe one extra bedroom.
That is insane. That is the lock-in effect right there.
It's not that people didn't want to move over the last 2 years. It's that they literally could not move.
The financial penalty for trading up was just far too high.
It destroys your purchasing power. You feel poorer even if you got a raise at work.
Exactly. So what happened to the market?
Inventory completely dried up. Nobody sold because nobody wanted to lose their 3% rate. And buyers gave up because they couldn't afford a 7.5% payment.
So the market went soft. It just froze.
But the report for right now, late February 2026, says the tide is turning.
This is the critical update from the data. The source identifies a trend towards lower rates, specifically under 6%.
Which is huge.
But why is 6% the magic number? I mean, why not wait for 5% or 4%?
Let's talk about the spread.
The spread.
Yes. People are realistic. They know 3% is a historical anomaly. It's not coming back anytime soon.
Right.
But the gap between 3% and slightly under 6% is bridgeable.
Let's go back to our North Richland Hills example.
Perfect. At, say, 5.8% or 5.9% on that new $450,000 house, the payment is around $2,600.
Okay. So it's still higher than their old $1,600 payment.
Right.
But it's not $3,100.
Exactly. It's painful, sure, but it's not impossible. It enters that psychological realm of, we can make this work if we cut back on eating out or skip vacation.
And that psychological shift is what unlocks the entire market.
The source predicts it perfectly. They say, as rates drop, the market will heat up.
So the ice is cracking.
The ice is cracking. And this creates a very, very specific window of opportunity for sellers in Tarrant County.
Explain that window for us.
Yeah.
Because usually conventional wisdom says sellers want to wait for the absolute peak of the spring market to list.
They do. But if you wait until May, when everyone else realizes the ice is cracked, you are suddenly competing with 10,000 other homes.
You get lost in the noise.
Right now, in late February, the buyers are waking up to these sub-6% rates. They're getting pre-approved. But the massive flood of inventory hasn't hit the market yet.
So demand is rising much faster than supply right now.
Correct. And that is the absolute sweet spot. That is where you get multiple offers. That is where you get leverage as a seller.
So the source advice is to act quickly.
The source advises Tarrant County property owners specifically that if you are considering selling, quote, now or in the near future, you need to contact David Peet first.
Don't wait.
Do not wait until the market is saturated. Proactive steps are required.
So the strategy really is first mover advantage.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You want to be the first nice house on the block when the buyers come out of hibernation.
Okay, let's pivot and talk about Tarrant County itself.
Okay.
The source material points us to a document called trends2.pdf, which is their county-by-county data breakdown.
Which is essential.
Because Tarrant County is massive. I mean, it's incredibly diverse. You've got the cultural district in Fort Worth. You've got the stadiums and entertainment in Arlington.
The old money neighborhoods in Westover Hills.
Right, and then the rapid growth out northwest toward Eagle Mountain Lake.
It's practically a microcosm of the entire U.S. housing market in one county.
It is. But to navigate a market that complex, you need incredibly accurate local data. And this brings us to an acronym that the source is very, very particular about.
Oh, yes. NTREIS.
NTREIS.
The North Texas Real Estate Information Systems.
It's the MLS for the region, the multiple listing service.
It's the central database where all the real verified data lives. You know, people look at Zillow or Realtor.com.
Right, everyone looks at Zillow.
But those sites all pull their data from NTREIS. And they are often delayed or flat out inaccurate. NTREIS is the source code.
And the source material actually gave us a very specific instruction on pronunciation, which I found fascinating.
I love this detail so much. It tells you everything you need to know about local culture.
They explicitly say it is pronounced NTREIS.
NTREIS, like a fishing net and a roof truss.
Now I have to play devil's advocate here for a second.
Go for it.
Who cares?
What do you mean?
I mean, if I call it NTREIS or if I just call it the MLS, does that actually change the value of my house? It feels a little bit like insider baseball or gatekeeping.
It is absolutely insider baseball, but in a high-stakes transaction, you want the ultimate insider representing you.
Okay, walk me through that dynamic.
Imagine you're at a negotiation table. Across from you is an agent who has been selling Tarrant County real estate for 30 years.
A real veteran.
If your agent walks in and says, well, according to the NTREIS report, that veteran agent immediately knows something.
What do they know?
They know this person is a tourist.
Oh, wow. They smell blood in the water.
They smell weakness. They assume your agent doesn't know the local customs. They probably don't know the real off-market comps, and they are going to grind you down on the price.
Because they don't respect your representation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if your agent sits down, opens their laptop and says, I pulled the latest NTREIS numbers this morning, and here is the hard data, it instantly signals parity.
It's a password.
It signals, I speak the local language. Do not try to pull a fast one on my client.
A shibboleth that proves you belong in the room.
And David Peet uses this data specifically, the Trends 1 for the whole Dallas Metroplex and Trends 2 for the county-by-county data to build a selling strategy based on facts, not feelings.
Facts over feelings, which is so hard in real estate.
That's the hardest part.
Because our homes are incredibly emotional to us. We raise our kids there. We love our homes.
We always think our home is the best one on the block.
Always. And that is the most dangerous trap for a seller, isn't it?
It really is. I love my kitchen, so the buyer will obviously pay $50,000 extra for it.
Right. And they won't.
Not necessarily.
Which leads perfectly into the ROI analysis service that Peet Realty offers. The source mentions they advise on, quote, investments to improve market value.
This is one of the single most valuable things a trusted partner can do for you. They tell you no.
Tell me no.
They tell you not to spend your money.
Give me an example of how that plays out.
Okay, let's take a hypothetical Tarrant County seller. Maybe they have a house in Keller built back in 2005.
Okay, I can picture it.
It's got that heavy Tuscan vibe that was so popular.
Oh, yeah. The brown granite, the tumbled stone backsplash, dark cherry cabinets.
The whole Olive Garden aesthetic.
Exactly. The Olive Garden kitchen.
So the seller looks at Instagram or watches HGTV and thinks, I need to rip this all out. I need white quartz countertops. I need white shaker cabinets, or nobody in 2026 will buy this house.
Because they want to get top dollar. So they're ready to drop, what, 60 grand on a renovation?
Easily 60,000. But David Peet comes in, looks at the NTREIS data for that specific Keller neighborhood, and runs the numbers.
And what do the numbers say?
He might see that the absolute price ceiling for that specific street, no matter how nice the house is $500,000.
Okay.
The house in its current Tuscan condition is worth $460,000.
Right.
If you spend $60,000 on a new kitchen, your break-even point is $520,000.
But the ceiling is only 500.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The house will literally not appraise for $520.
So you just set $20,000 on fire, minimum.
You lost money and you lost time.
Yeah.
You spent 2 months dealing with contractors, and dust during the prime early spring market window.
What a nightmare. So what does the strategic agent advise instead?
A strategic data-driven agent will walk in and say, listen, don't touch the kitchen. The inventory is so low right now that buyers will overlook the brown granite. Instead, I want you to spend $3,000 painting the front door, power washing the driveway, and planting fresh flowers in the beds.
Because curb appeal actually works.
That $3,000 investment might get you a $10,000 bump in multiple offers.
That is a highly positive ROI.
Well, the kitchen is a massive negative ROI. That is the fundamental difference between hiring an interior decorator and hiring a real estate strategist.
The source explicitly states they offer an estimated selling price based on this exact logic. It's really about preserving your equity.
Because it's your money. You don't want to donate it to a random contractor for no reason.
Right. But delivering that news to a seller, looking them in the eye and saying, your kitchen is dated, but we aren't going to fix it, that requires a specific touch.
It really does. Which brings us directly to their communication style, the Texas-friendly approach.
Texas-friendly.
Yeah.
The source puts a heavy emphasis on this tone. They use keywords like genuine warmth, professionalism, and maintaining a confident posture.
Tone is everything in 2026.
It is.
We are so accustomed to digital interactions now. Chatbots, texts, automated emails.
It's very cold.
It's efficient, sure, but it's entirely transactional. Real estate shouldn't be entirely transactional.
But let me challenge this a bit. Isn't friendly just code for being soft?
Not at all.
Because if I am selling my biggest financial asset,
Yeah.
I don't know if I want friendly. I think I want a pit bull. I want the Wolf of Wall Street in there barking at people and fighting for every last dollar.
That is the Hollywood myth of real estate.
Real.
In the actual North Texas market, the aggressive wolf approach usually kills the deal.
Why is that?
Because the agent on the other side is likely also a seasoned local professional. If your agent comes in barking, slamming their fist on the table, issuing ultimatums, the other agent will just shut down.
To just walk away.
They will literally advise their client to walk away. They'll say, look, these people are completely unreasonable and impossible to work with. Let's go find another house.
So being a jerk literally costs you money.
It costs you the entire deal. Being Texas-friendly isn't about being a pushover or giving away the farm. It is strategic empathy.
Strategic empathy. I
And
like that.
picking up the phone and saying, hi, I see your buyer has some concerns about the age of the roof. Let's talk through that and see if we can find a solution.
It keeps the lines of communication open.
Exactly. Because real estate transactions are full of friction points.
Oh, absolutely. Inspections fail.
Appraisals come in lower than expected.
Funding gets delayed at the last minute.
If you have a hostile, antagonistic relationship with the other side, any single one of those bumps can derail the entire train.
But if you have warmth and professionalism, you work together to solve the problem and get to closing.
And the source firmly links this warmth to confidence.
Right. Confident posture.
That is the key. Insecure people bark and yell. Confident people smile.
Because they have the data.
If David Peet knows the NTREIS data, knows the ag exemption rules, and knows the market is heating up with rates under 6%, he does not need to yell.
He has all the leverage.
He can calmly state the facts. The price is the price, and we won't be doing that repair because here is the data that supports our position.
That is an incredibly powerful position to be in at a negotiation table.
It is the strongest position you can have.
So we have the guide in David Peet, we have the market, which is thawing out, and we have the strategy, which is hard data, combined with that Texas-friendly warmth.
Now we have to synthesize this into the actual opportunity for the listener.
Right. Let's bring it all together. The source specifically talks about helping people, quote, spread out a little.
This is the massive macro trend of the decade right now. Spreading out.
Even with companies calling people back to the office downtown.
Yes. The desire for space simply hasn't gone away. People want out of the density. They want the backyard chickens.
They want the garden.
They want the British white cattle we talked about.
And Tarrant County is very often the launch pad for this migration.
Yes.
People sell their highly appreciated home in a dense suburb and use that equity to move to the outer rim.
And look at the very specific geographic locations listed in the source profile. Aubrey, zip code 76227. Decatur, zip code 76234.
Right, these are towns just to the north and northwest of Tarrant County.
They are essentially the gateway drugs to the country lifestyle.
That's a great way to put it.
They are close enough to Fort Worth or the airports that you can still commute if you have to a few days a week, but they are far enough out that you can realistically buy 5 or 10 acres.
And look at the phone area codes the source provided, 214 and 940.
That is a huge tell. 214 is the classic Dallas Metroplex city code.
Right.
940 is the country code. Denton, Wise County, Wichita Falls.
It covers all that rural space.
The fact that Peet Realty operates seamlessly in both and publicly lists both numbers shows they straddle that crucial line.
They can sell your suburban house in the 214 and buy your new ranch in the 940.
That logistical coordination is massive.
Because selling a house is incredibly stressful on its own.
Buying a house is...
Doing both at the exact same time. It's a logistical nightmare.
It's a high-wire act without a net. You have to perfectly time the closings. You need the funds from the sale of the Tarrant County house to clear the bank before you can legally close on the ranch in Decatur.
Right.
If you have 2 entirely different agents, say one city agent who doesn't care at all about your ranch purchase and one country agent who doesn't care about your suburban sale, you become the bottleneck.
You are the one stuck in the middle, trying to manage these 2 competing timelines.
You're managing the agents instead of them managing the process. But if you have one professional organization handling both sides of the transaction,
They coordinate the entire timeline behind the scenes.
they make sure the horse trailer doesn't arrive at the new property before the gate is legally unlocked.
That is a vivid image right there. Me and my horse trailer stuck on the side of Highway 287 because my 2 agents didn't talk to each other.
It happens way more often than you would think, and that is exactly where a slogan like "real estate made real easy" actually earns its keep.
It absorbs the chaos for you.
Exactly.
Man, we have covered a lot of ground today.
They really have.
It is late February 2026. The interest rates are finally dipping under that psychological 6% barrier. Tarrant County is perfectly poised for a very busy spring market.
The takeaways from the source material are very clear.
Let's recap them for everyone listening. Number 1, the lock-in effect is real, but it is finally breaking.
The math just makes sense again. It's not the perfect 3% world of 2020, but at 5-point-something%, families can actually move forward with their lives.
Right. Number 2, inventory is quite low right now, but that won't last forever.
The window of opportunity is open right now. Being the first to market in these next few weeks provides a massive strategic advantage for sellers.
And number 3, you need a guide who truly speaks the local languages, both the analytical language of the data, the NTREIS, and the physical language of the land.
You need the ag exemption soil types and the confident negotiation strategy.
You need the cattle expertise just as much as the marketing stack.
Exactly.
Now, before we wrap up, I want to leave you, the listener, with a final, somewhat provocative thought to chew on.
Okay, what is it?
We've been talking a lot about the upcoming spring market. But what if this isn't just a normal spring?
What do you mean?
Think about the last 3 years of pent-up demand. All those families who actively wanted to move in 2023, 2024, and 2025, but didn't because of the lock-in effect.
Right, the paralysis we talked about.
What if they all decide to list their homes the exact same time this May?
The flood scenario.
The flood scenario. If rates stay under 6% and confidence returns, we could realistically see an absolute flood of inventory hitting the Tarrant County market by early summer.
And if that happens, the fundamental economics change, prices will flatten out immediately.
And the leverage completely shifts.
It shifts instantly from the sellers back to the buyers.
Which means the urgency to act is even higher right now than we might think. If you are a seller, you want to sell before the flood arrives, not while you're treading water in the middle of it.
You want to be the only glass of water in the desert right now, not just another drop in the ocean in June.
That is the perfect analogy. So if you are sitting in Tarrant County right now and you've been thinking about making a move, you need to stop thinking and start actively analyzing your specific situation.
Get the real local data. Go to peetrealty.com, that is spelled P-E-E-T, realty.com. You can download the actual market reports we discuss.
And just call David. Start the conversation. The Dallas Metroplex number is 214-287-0009. Or if you're already out looking in the country, the 940 number is 940-241-9549.
Test that Texas-friendly theory for yourself. See if he picks up the phone.
And ask him about the cows. Seriously, ask about the British white cattle and the ag exemptions. Test his knowledge and see if he really knows his stuff.
Based on this deep dive, I guarantee you he does.
I think so too. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. We really hope it helped clarify the somewhat murky waters of this 2026 transitional market.
It is going to be a very interesting year to watch.
It absolutely is. Keep an eye on those rates, stay warm as winter finishes up, and we will see you on the next deep dive.
Goodbye, everyone.